Your mum was a social worker. Do you think that informed your sense of social responsibility?
I think it must have. You just pick up stuff, don't you, when you're growing up? Maybe a parent or an uncle or a grandparent doesn't have to say anything, it's just what they're doing.
Yes.
And somehow when you're little, a bit of it just gets left on your skin.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up on the North Shore of Sydney and I'm basically, got a middle-class background, but she was working with people from much more diverse backgrounds and certainly more working class. So I discovered other Australians who actually had a tougher life, if you like. And I guess it did stay with me.
Peter attended his local primary school, but for high school, his father decided his sons should attend Barker College, a private boys' school. As a student, you went to an anti-war rally in your school uniform.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, the Vietnam War was a big thing in its day, and a lot of people were opposed to the fact that Australia was a part of it. And found a couple of mates. There weren't that many at the school I went to, but there were a few of us. And anyway, we decided to go, all dressed up in our private school boys' uniforms, in the middle of the crowd.
Yeah.
Down into Sydney and copped a bit of razzing from other people around us. But when I look back on it now, it probably was a part of wanting to understand and be a part of the politics of the day. And the fact that I was there with a whole bunch of other people who felt the same way was actually quite liberating.
Yeah.
Even if we were the only ones dressed like turkeys.
So did Mum and Dad, were they sort of, why did you go to the protest, or were they like, good on your son, or?
I think they would have been supportive.
Yeah.
The one thing I did take from my parents, which I think is an incredibly important lesson, was to stand up for what you believe in and step out and essentially don't worry about what people think or whether you're going to get laughed at or jeered or what have you.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
What a wonderful message to give
Totally.
to your children.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because, of course, I'm a parent now and you reflect on these things. You think about what it was like when you were a kid. It doesn't seem that long ago. And I think parents obviously give a couple of things which are really important. They give unconditional love at its best. And especially the mother's love, that keeps a lot of us going over time, even when your mum's not around any longer. They give you the stuff that you model off a little bit, and that thing of stepping out and not being afraid and standing up for what you believe in, it's quite an important message. And I think for me, the other one was really straightforward. Whatever you do it to the fullest extent possible. Doesn't matter, you're not doing it to make a buck. You're doing it because you love doing it. And if you love doing it, then it doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about it. And that's really important.
That's gold, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, mate, that's magic. That's 5-star.
Is it true that the night after your mum passed away, you had to perform a show?
Yes, it is. Yeah, we did. I felt at the time that if I could do that, it would honour her and it would mean that I wasn't going to be marked and beaten down by the loss of someone I probably loved more than anybody else at that time.
It resonates with me when you talk about, I've got to live like there's no tomorrow. Let's get out there and make the most,
Yeah, but here's the interesting thing. I'd never bought the live fast, die young, because I'd seen what happens when someone dies. And that's it. It's the totality of tragedy of loss. But the live with everything you've got part of it, I think was incredibly important.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it probably partly explained how I came to perform and live the rest of my life, because I wasn't driven by the ambition to prove anything to anybody, but rather just with the knowledge that suddenly someone can be here one day and the next day they're not there, especially someone close to you.